Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So first of all, my name is Nur Ain Zulaika binti Zamzuri.
And my name is Fatina Jaminti Harun.
So for today's presentation, we will be talking about police brutality causes harm to society. So first of all, we'll talk about our thesis statement, which is the reason why we need to discuss how police brutality has caused harm to society is by causing many lives to be injured and eventually causes death. Allowing police force to view their job as a license to kill and making local citizens live in fear even in their own country. So first of all, what is police brutality? The law dictionary 2022 described police brutality as the use of excessive and unnecessary violence and avoidable force by officers. So is using force okay? So the Odyssey, it is a website, 2020, said that it's okay because some people deserve it. What does this mean? So some people, in the US, they suffer with white supremacy. So some people think that they are above the law. So there's this one viral video in the US that there's this one Carolina girl was pulled from her chair forcefully by a police officer. Many think that this was a police brutality case, but it is not. The girl was warned by her teacher, by the authority of the school, and the officers multiple times before she was pulled. But she still doesn't want to get out from her chair. So that's why the police had to pull her out. So what is police brutality? When does the police brutality happen? So the police brutality happens when the thin line between the excessive force and the reasonable amount of force is crossed. So how do we decide this? The only people who can decide this is us and the police itself, is by drawing the line based on our own morality and our own principles. So next we will be moving on to our first main idea. So as you can see, this is George Floyd. His case was popular worldwide because he is actually an ex-NBA player, and an ex-NBA player, a basketball player, yes. So he was choked by this officer even though he said, "I can't breathe" 7 times. So the officer neglected his word and continued to kill him. So this case has caused the movement of Black Lives Matter. And police brutality also happens in a small country such as Malaysia. So this example is Umar Farouk Abdullah, S. Mahendran, and S. Balamurugan. I couldn't find the pictures of the other two, unfortunately. So, S. Mahendran, what happened to him? Sorry. Okay. S. Mahendran, what happened to him? He suffered 13 hours of torture and abuse. He was tasered, his genitals was rubbed with chili paste, he was spread naked on ice cubes, and the police officer wanted to force him for testimonies, for confession, but actually he didn't do it. And to make it worse, the officers actually threatened to rape his daughter and his mother. And then, next, we have S. Balamurugan, who died in police custody in 2017. Balamurugan was slapped in the face and was punched in the chest. His family could hear all of this in the opposite room. Okay, so the authority in charge of Balamurugan's case denied his right to medical treatment, and even when the magistrate ordered them to take him to the hospital, seeing his weak bodies and injuries during his remand hearing, the police officers didn't even get him treatment and just brought him back to the police custody and just left him there with his injury. Okay, next we will continue with our second point.
Moving on to our second main argument, police brutality causes harm to the society by allowing the police force to view their job as a license to kill people. Many people were taken by the police due to the unknown reasons and for minor offences. It is understandable for people who make mistake to be taken by the police, to be further questioned by the police. However, what make this become controversial is that the family members of the detainees didn't hear any news regarding detainees, and because of the previous case of police brutality that based on the previous cases, the family members feel at unease because they should expect something serious that will occur at that time. And why did I say that police view their job as a license to kill? Is that even though the attitude of these police that hate and abuse the detainees in the prisons, however, they never held accountable for their actions, and it is as if they feel that their actions are wrong because they did not realize that their action is wrong, and no further action taken by the higher ups of the police force. And this has changed the citizens' view about the police enforcement. And moving on to our last argument, local citizens, police brutality causes harm to the local citizens because making the local citizens living in fear in their own country. Due to the police brutality, it made people live on their tiptoes in their own country, and they feel the need to be extra careful in their own country. And furthermore, any individuals that speak about this police brutality will be called by the police and be further questioned and further investigate. For example, Amilanda, Malaysian animator, made a film that illustrates the real life situation in the prison that he got the information from the ex-detainees, but then the illustrator was called under the sections of 500 and 505B of the Penal Code, which deal with information and statements and conducing to public mischief, and section 233 under the Communication and Multimedia Act. And this had made everyone think that they may get caught in any seconds without any valid reasons. However, for police brutality that happened in Malaysia, it is not due to the racism, because the amount of people that are affected by this brutality are equally the same for all races.
So to conclude all our points, naturally, after saying all these points, we are against police brutality as it harms society physically, mentally, and emotionally. Thank you.